Something that I've noticed is that in this space, companies, and as I'm sitting around with senior leaders, in this space you hit what I call intellectual roadblocks. Sometimes the laws and regulations are not clear. Sometimes you just can't agree on how, when you have limited resources, should they be spent over here or should they be expended over there? One thing that I've noticed is that it is very easy to hit these intellectual and innovative roadblocks. And so I've come up with a framework that I want all of you to, I do want people to take pictures of this and remember this, because it's going to be very important as Black professionals that we could bring this type of simple but impactful thinking to the table as we go back in our normal everyday lives. When you hit that roadblock, 3 quick things to check in with yourself, to check in with your team, and then also take a critical look at your company and your organization. Technical discipline, moral discipline, and innovative discipline. Technical discipline, and I think on the first panel, one of the ladies mentioned this, is that be disciplined enough to go back to the basics. The CIA triad, some call it a CIA triangle, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. At the end of the day, when they're throwing all this marketing towards you and all this information towards you and it sounds all sexy and exciting, if you're a security professional, you need to really check in on that technical discipline and make sure that we're covered when it comes to confidentiality, integrity, and availability. A good example is that a lot of the security tools, unless you're specifically looking for something to help you with availability, a lot of security tools focus on threat actors and threat activity and what's the latest and greatest headline. But if the power of the data center go out, now you have an availability issue. So you have to be thinking about having that technical discipline that no matter what bells and whistles and shiny marketing get thrown at you, that you make sure that you're covered on the CIA triad, all right? The next thing is moral discipline. There won't always be laws and regulations that are clear. Sometimes laws and regulations may not be up to date on the latest and greatest threats, right? And so we got to get out of this habit, what I call sort of like compliance fatigue, where it's just like, okay, we met the minimum baseline security requirement, we're good to go. When you're hitting roadblocks, sometimes and I noticed, I got this from someone who was like one of my mentors when I was at TikTok. He would always do this. He would always pause and say, what is the right thing to do? And when everybody's arguing and going back and forth, that makes you look very powerful in the room. And so if you catch your company or your organization and you have that seat at the table, you can really, really lay down the law by saying, hold on, everybody, pause. What is the right thing to do? What are our users expecting? In our case of GSK, what are our patients expecting us to do, right? If you're that person in the room that say, what is the right thing to do? That's literally almost like a mic drop, because you're going to notice the room goes silent because it causes everybody to examine their conscience, to examine their hearts. So that's a very effective tool. And then last but not least, innovative discipline. This is something that TikTok did extremely well, all right? I learned so much by working at TikTok. So I'll give you an example. If you're in a room and you're sitting next to someone and they have an idea and they speak up, hey, I have an idea, and then someone immediately just changed the subject and just totally dismissed their idea, that was frowned upon at TikTok. And we had a habit of saying, hold on, stop. She just said something. Tiffany, can you repeat what you just said? That was a really good idea. And so that sort of innovative discipline is about ensuring that you, even if it's just within your small team, but certainly you want this coming from the top levels of leadership, but even if you're just in your small teams, you foster an environment of innovation. Another thing TikTok did is they didn't have an org chart. They did not believe that the janitor or the receptionist, no knock to the janitors and receptionists, my aunt was a janitor, they did not believe in the janitor or the receptionist being any more important than the CEO. So any title that you saw from TikTok, that was just for something they felt like they had to do. But inside the organization, there was no org chart. Like, they did not want anyone to feel that, oh, well, I'm not a director, so I can't speak up. So that was a very interesting environment to work in. Another example of innovative discipline is what I call psychological safety. Even if someone had the worst idea in the world, at least you thought it was the worst idea in the world, it was their idea. Something was put in their heart to give that idea. And so creating an environment where everyone can speak up, everyone can feel safe. Usually if you're hitting a roadblock, I can guarantee you that at least 99.5% of the time, your organization or even your small team is lacking in one of these three. So this is something that you could use and take back and use as a way to really examine what can we be doing differently based on these three areas.